The first light of dawn breaks across the wilderness, painting the earth in hues of gold and silver. Mist rises like breath from the sleeping land, curling between ancient trees, floating above emerald plains, ND dissolving into the sky's widening blue. This is the hour of new beginnings, when the world feels reborn and life stirs quietly beneath the warming sun. Every corner of the wild, tiny hearts beat with fragile determination. They are the young, the future of the animal kingdom, the wild's most tender secret, and its most powerful promise. The journey of life, in all its wonder and peril, begins here, in the first uncertain steps of its youngest travelers. In the African savanna, where acacia trees stand like silent guardians, a lioness lies in the tall grass. Around her, for golden cubs tumble and wrestle, their soft roars no louder than purrs. Their eyes, still clouded with innocence, mirror the fire of the dawn. For now, they know only warmth and the scent of their mother's fur. The lioness watches them with the calm of ancient instinct, her gaze both tender and alert. Every sound, every shadow matters. The cub's world is still small, but danger is already near. Jackals, hyenas, even the burning sun. Still they play, because play is practice and play is life. It is how the wild's warriors are forged in the safest hour of their youth. Far to the north, the frozen kingdom awakens under another kind of dawn. On an arctic plain of endless white, a polar bear mother digs her way out of her snow den, her two cubs following close behind. Heat air bites with cold, so pure it feels like crystal. The cubs blink at the brightness, unsteady on their paws, squeaking softly. For months they have known only the warmth of their mother's fur and the dark comfort of the den. Now, for the first time, they face the open world, a world of beauty and hunger, silence, and storm. Their mother leads them gently, pausing often, teaching them where the wind hides scents and where the ice might crack. The cubs stumble, fall, and rise again. Theirs is a land where only the strong survive, but strength begins in trust, and trust begins in love. In the heart of Asia, where the jungle breeds in humid clouds and rivers glitter like serpents, another family wakes. A baby elephant presses against its mother's leg, flapping its ears clumsily as morning birds fill the air with song. Around them, the herd murmurs and shifts, a living circle of protection. The calf reaches for its mother's trunk, seeking reassurance, then stumbles toward the waterhole. It splashes with joy, trunk curled like a question mark, learning the art of play that will one day teach it to bathe, drink, and communicate. The matriarch watches with patience born of generations. She remembers the same lessons taught to her long ago. In the wild, knowledge is inheritance, and every movement of the young is guided by the unseen memory of ancestors. Across oceans and continents, other young ones rise to greet the sun. In the rolling meadows of North America, a red fox vixen returns to her den with a rabbit in her jaws. Her kits squeal at her arrival, their tiny bodies wriggling with excitement. The meal she brings is both nourishment and education. They must learn what life demands, that survival is not cruelty, but balance. Not far away, a fawn steps delicately from the forest shadows, its spotted coat blending with the dappled light. Its mother watches from behind, ears twitching, eyes wide. The fawn takes one step, then another, trembling but curious. In that trembling lies the miracle of nature, vulnerability that dares to move forward. Deep in the Amazon rainforest, where mist wraps the canopy like a veil, a troop of capuchin monkeys leaps through the branches. Among them clings a newborn, its tiny fingers curled into its mother's fur. She moves swiftly, balancing motherhood and motion. The baby peers at the world through enormous eyes, seeing only flashes of green, gold, and sky. Life here is a dance, one of rhythm and risk, of falling and catching. Every rustle in the leaves could be friend or foe, and every dawn brings both bounty and trial. Yet amid the chaos, the young thrive, for in the forest, curiosity is courage, and every mistake is a lesson written in leaves and wind. As day spreads across the globe, the film of life continues, an endless reel of beginnings. From the icy shores of Antarctica, where penguin chicks huddle against the wind, to the coral reefs where baby sea turtles break through sand and crawl toward the waves. Every heartbeat carries the same silent vow: to live. The wild knows no language of comfort, yet it speaks fluently of resilience. It gives no guarantees, yet it promises meaning through motion, growth through challenge. In every baby's breath, the universe rehearses its oldest story, that life, against all odds, endures. The sun climbs higher, and the chorus of the young fills the air, bleats, chirps, growls, cries, and songs. Each one tells a fragment of the same tale, that innocence and strength are not opposites, but partners. The cub, the chick, the calf, the fawn, all born into a world that tests as it teaches. Their struggles will be countless, but so will their joys. Theirs is the purest adventure, not to conquer, but to become. In their eyes shines eternal truth of the wild, that every beginning, no matter how small, holds a spark of everything to come. The second sun of their lives rises differently, not in warmth and wonder, but in whispers of challenge. The young of the wild have taken their first breaths, their first steps, and now they must take their first lessons. For in nature, childhood is a fleeting dream, and every dawn comes with a test. The savanna, the forest, the tundra, and the sea, each is both cradle and classroom, and every creature must learn its language quickly or be left behind. The young are born innocent, but innocence in the wild is a fragile privilege, soon replaced by awareness, instinct, and the first taste of fear. In the African plains, the lion cubs have begun to wander further from their mother's side. The golden grass around them hums with life. The whisper of insects, the rustle of distant herds, the far-off trumpeting of elephants. The cubs stalk each other, imitating their mother's stealth, their tails flicking with excitement. But beneath their play lies purpose, to learn patience, precision, and power. When a gust of wind carries the scent of a zebra herd, the lioness lifts her head. Her pupils narrow, her muscles tighten. The cubs freeze, sensing her shift in energy. They watch as she lowers her body, silent as shadow, and glides through the grass. She will not let them join yet. They must only observe. The lesson begins not in the kill, but in stillness. For in the wild, silence can mean the difference between hunger and survival. Thousands of miles away in the frozen north, the polar bear cubs experience their first true hunger. The milk of their mother is no longer enough. They must follow her across the vast white desert in search of food. The journey is long and punishing. The cubs slip often, their paws sinking into deep snow, their breath misting in the wind. Ahead, their mother moves with steady determination. She knows that under the ice waits a seal, and with it life. When she finally finds a breathing hole, she kneels low, waiting. Minutes stretch into hours. The cubs fidget beside her, whining softly, learning patience in the language of silence. When the seal finally rises, the mother's strike is swift, a single motion, as clean as instinct itself. The cubs rush forward, and she allows them to eat first. The cold teaches endurance. The hunger teaches gratitude. The Arctic gives nothing freely, yet every victory, no matter how small, feels sacred. In the jungle, the baby elephant faces its first storm. The sky darkens to bruise violet. Thunder rumbles like the growl of an unseen beast. The herd tightens its circle, adults forming a living wall around the young. The calf, trembling, presses against its mother's legs. Rain falls in sheets, pounding earth into rivers. Yet within the chaos, the elephants move together, trunks intertwined, hearts synchronized. When lightning strikes a nearby tree, the calf trumpets in fear. But the matriarch touches it gently, her trunk across its back, and calm returns. That simple touch carries a memory older than time, reassurance, protection, love. When the storm passes, the calf explores puddles under the fading rain, splashing and laughing as if the world had been reborn. The storm that frightened it has now become its teacher. That fear, too, can wash away like rain. In the highlands of South America, a condor chick stretches its wings for the first time. The nest sits at the edge of a cliff, surrounded by wind and cloud. Below lies a world vast and unforgiving. The mother watches silently as her chick opens its wings to the sky, trembling but eager. The air catches beneath them, lifting the young bird just enough to feel the promise of flight. But the moment ends quickly. The chick stumbles, flapping wildly. The mother does not intervene, for in the language of the sky, falling is the first lesson of flying. The chick will fall many times before it soars, but each fall will whisper the same truth. The air does not carry the timid. It carries the brave. Across the ocean, in the shallows of coral reef, a sea turtle hatchling faces its first day beyond the sand. Having broken through its shell under the moonlight, it crawled toward the sea, guided by instinct older than civilization itself. Now, under the glow of morning light, it swims among colors unimaginable. Coral forests, flickering schools of fish, shafts of sunlight like golden rain. But beauty hides danger. A shadow glides above, a barracuda. The hatchling freezes, every fiber of its tiny body aware of the presence of death. It dives, twists, hides beneath coral. The predator passes. The ocean exhales. The turtle survives, not through strength, but through knowing when to be still. Survival in the sea is an art of invisibility. In the meadows of North America, the fox kits have begun to follow their mother on short excursions. The wind carries 1,000 scents: earth, rabbit, rain. The vixen moves with elegance, her body a ripple of motion. The kits mimic her every step, their paws soft on the ground. Suddenly, she freezes. A hawk circles above. Instinct overrides curiosity. The kits flatten themselves to the earth, hearts pounding. The shadow passes, and the vixen relaxes. Then she turns to her kits, brushes them with her tail, and resumes the walk. Danger is not always violence. Sometimes it is only a shadow, a reminder that the world is both beautiful and watchful. Deep in the rainforest, the baby capuchin monkey discovers independence. For the first time, it dares to climb from its mother's back, reaching for a branch of its own. The forest hums with life. Frogs calling, leaves dripping, parrots crying in the distance. The baby swings, misjudges, and falls. But before it hits the ground, another branch catches it, and another hand, not its mother's but an elder's, pulls it up. In the jungle, community is strength, and every fall becomes a lesson shared. That night, as the troop settles in the canopy, the young capuchin curls against his mother, exhausted but proud. Growth in the wild is not a straight path. It is a spiral of trial and triumph. As the day fades into evening, the light softens, and the voices of the wild grow quieter. The cubs, the chicks, the calves, all retreat to the safety of mothers in dens. The stars rise over savanna, the tundra, and the sea. The earth turns, indifferent yet alive, holding within it every heartbeat, every breath, every story. The young sleep, and in their dreams they chase butterflies, waves, and the wind itself. Tomorrow will bring new challenges. The first hunt, the first migration, the first loss. But for now, under the calm of night, innocence returns like a soft blanket. The world, for a moment, is kind again. For every creature born into the wild, the greatest education is life itself, a lesson without end, taught by the wind, the water, the sun, and the shadows. And though danger lurks in every corner, the courage to learn remains stronger. In the quiet hours before dawn, the earth breathes with them, and somewhere, far above, the stars keep their silent watch over the wild's most fragile, most beautiful dream, youth. In the wild, survival is not always a solitary act. Beneath the rawness of tooth and claw lies something more ancient, more tender, the bond of family. It is not love as humans name it, but something deeper, written into blood, scent, and instinct. From the vast plains to the frozen poles, the young survive not by strength alone, but through unity. The invisible thread that binds mothers to children, herds to calves, flocks to fledglings. In every corner of the earth, the language of care beats softly beneath the roar of survival. On the sunlit savanna, the lioness returns from the hunt. Dust rises around her paws as the afternoon heat shimmers across the plains. The cubs, hidden in tall grass, sense her scent long before they see her. With tiny growls and squeals, they rush to her side, rubbing their heads against her legs. Mewling in excitement, she drops the carcass of a gazelle before them. Nourishment, but also a lesson in sharing. The cubs fight playfully over the meal, their little claws unsheathing as they tug at the meat. The lioness watches with quiet tolerance. Among lions, Every bond is tested in play before it is proven in battle. When the cubs tire, they collapse beside her, bellies full, purring softly. She licks them clean, each stroke of her tongue a promise. As long as she breathes, they will never face the wild alone. In the Arctic, the polar bear cubs huddle close to their mother as the wind sharpens. The white world around them seems endless, a desert of ice stretching beyond sight. Yet in that emptiness, their family is everything. The mother leads them from ridge to ridge, pausing often to let them rest. When one cub falls behind, she nudges it gently with her nose, urging it forward. At night, they burrow together into the snow, the warmth of her body shielding them from the cold that can freeze breath into silence. The cubs press their faces into her fur, safe within the circle of her body. In that quiet cocoon, time slows. The stars above shimmer like scattered fire. In this frozen land, love is warmth, the difference between life and death. Deep in the African jungle, the elephant herd moves through a corridor of sunlight and shadow. The youngest calf, still unsteady on its legs, walks at the center, surrounded by mothers, sisters, and aunts. Each step it takes is guarded by many. The matriarch, her tusks long and worn, leads them with a wisdom that feels like memory itself. When they reach a waterhole, the herd spreads out, drinking and bathing, spraying mud across their backs. The calf tries to mimic the elders, lifting its trunk clumsily and sending a small fountain of water into the air. Laughter ripples to the herd, a low rumbling vibration that passes from elephant to elephant. The sound is not just joy. It is communication, a song of belonging. Later, when the calf lies down to rest, another adult gently fans it with her ears, keeping away flies. Among elephants, no one grows alone. Every birth adds another heartbeat to the family's rhythm. In the heart of the ocean, a pod of dolphins dances beneath the waves. The calves swim beside their mothers, learning to breathe, dive, and play in perfect synchrony. The sea glitters with sunlight, scattering diamonds across the water's surface. The young dolphins leap, twisting in arcs of pure joy. Beneath them, the elders watch carefully, guiding them away from danger. When a calf ventures too far, a sharp whistle calls it back, a note carried to the water like a mother's voice. Dolphins live in a world without borders, yet their bonds are stronger than any rope. They communicate in a symphony of clicks and songs, a language of trust that echoes through the deep. To be part of the pod is to be part of a promise, to protect, to teach, to belong. Far south, on the icy shores of Antarctica, thousands of emperor penguins gather in a living mass of feathers. And sound. The air is thick with the calls of parents and chicks, each one seeking the other in a blizzard of noise. Yet miraculously, they find each other, guided by voice, by scent, by heart. The chick, covered in downy gray, totters toward its father. The father, who has guarded the egg through weeks of frozen night, lowers his body and shelters the chick beneath his brood pouch. Around them, the wind howls, but they are unmoved. Together they form a living fortress. Hundreds of penguins huddling close, sharing heat, surviving the cold as one body. In that circle of unity, even the harshest winter cannot break them. Family here is architecture, a cathedral built of devotion and feathers. High in the canopy of the rainforest, the capuchin monkeys move like a river of life through the branches. Mothers carry infants clinging to their backs, while older siblings leap and swing, gathering fruit. The troop moves as a single organism, every eye watching for danger. When a hawk appears in the sky, an alarm call rings out. Instantly, the group freezes, then scatters into the leaves, each mother shielding her baby beneath the foliage. When the danger passes, they reunite with chirps of relief. The baby capuchin reaches for its mother's face, pressing its forehead to hers, a gesture as old as time, saying, "I am safe." Among the trees, love is motion, never still, always flowing, like the forest itself. On the rolling grasslands of North America, the fox kits have grown bolder. They follow their mother to the edges of the den, their ears perked, their eyes bright with curiosity. The vixen brings them small gifts, feathers, beetles, bits of fur, to teach them the textures of their world. At sunset, the kits chase fireflies to the tall grass, their laughter echoing softly under the purple sky. The mother watches from a distance, her tail curled around her paws. She does not interfere, for trust is part of love too. She knows that one day they will leave her side to carve out their own lives beneath the same endless sky. But tonight, they are together, and that is enough. The air smells of earth and rain, and the world feels gentle, if only for a moment. As night spreads its wings over the planet, the wild grows quiet. The cubs and chicks, calves and fawns, all find their way back to warmth and safety. Across continents, the rhythm of rest begins, a lullaby sung by the wind, the crickets, the waves. Family in the wild is not measured in time, but in trust, not in words, but in touch. The bond between mother and young, between herd and heart, is the pulse of the earth itself. Beneath the stars, every creature sleeps in the memory of that connection, dreaming not of conquest, but of belonging. In every breath of the wild, there echoes a truth that humans often forget, that no life, no matter how small, thrives alone. The forest, the ocean, the tundra, all live by the same law of balance, written in the bond between generations. The young learn from the old, the strong protect the fragile, and through that endless cycle, the wild endures. Tomorrow, they will wake again to learn, to play, to fight, to love, each heartbeat a note in the great song of life that began long before memory and will continue long after us. There comes a moment in every young creature's life when the world shifts, when the comfort of the nest, the den, or the herd gives way to something far larger and infinitely more demanding. Childhood, brief and bright, begins to fade. The wild calls softly at first, then louder, until even the smallest heart cannot resist. The young must step beyond the boundaries of safety, guided not by their mother's shadows, but by their own instincts. It is the dawn of independence, the time of first courage and first mistakes. In the golden plains of Africa, the lion cubs are no longer helpless. Their legs are strong now, their roars louder, their plays sharper with the edge of competition. The pride moves together through tall grass rippling in the wind. The cubs follow close behind, learning by watching, by feeling, by failing. One cub, bolder than the rest, breaks away to chase a gazelle fawn. For a brief, thrilling moment, it feels the rush of power, the wind in its face, the heartbeat of the chase. But the fawn is faster, the cub too young. Exhausted, it tumbles into the dirt. The lioness appears beside it, silent. She does not scold, for the wild does not punish curiosity, it refines it. The cub rises again, panting, understanding that strength is not born in success, but in the will to try again tomorrow. Far from the warmth of the savannah, the polar bear cubs stand at the edge of a frozen sea. Their mother watches as they paw at the ice, their reflections shimmering in pools of meltwater. They have grown thicker fur, stronger muscles, but the Arctic is still a world too vast, too cruel to be mastered easily. One cub ventures farther than before, fascinated by a flock of seabirds. It runs, slipping and sliding, barking with excitement. The ice creaks beneath its weight. The mother growls, a low warning. The cub freezes, then retreats just as the ice sheet cracks open, the water below churning dark and deadly. Lesson learned. The cub presses against her leg, eyes wide. In this kingdom of silence and snow, every inch of freedom must be earned, and every mistake remembered. In the Asian jungle, the young elephant calf has begun to wander farther from the herd. Curiosity leads it through vines and pools, chasing butterflies and the echo of birds. The matriarch allows it space, but her gaze never leaves. When the calf finds a shallow stream, it experiments, splashing, playing, using its trunk to pick up stones and leaves. Then it discovers a frog and trumpets in surprise, its sound echoing through the forest. The frog leaps away, and the calf follows, learning the dance of curiosity and consequence. When it returns to the herd, it carries a branch proudly in its trunk, a trophy of discovery. The adults rumble with amusement, and the calf stands taller, as if the forest itself had given its approval. Independence here is not separation, but participation, learning one's place in the symphony of life. Across the open skies of the Andes, the condor chick has grown strong enough for its first flight. The nest, high on a rocky ledge, overlooks miles of wind and emptiness. The mother waits, silent but watchful. The chick spreads its massive wings, feeling the rush of air beneath its feathers. Fear trembles in its chest. But beneath that fear, something older stirs, the memory of the sky calling to its kind since time immemorial. It steps forward and falls. For a heartbeat, there's only air, then lift. The wind catches it, carries it. The world below unfurls like a tapestry of mountains and shadow. The chick glides, awkward but free. It will not master the sky today, but it has tasted its truth. That freedom begins where the ledge ends. Beneath the waves, the young sea turtle ventures farther from the safety of coral shallows. It drifts into open water, where sunlight fades and shapes move in the deep. The turtle's shell, once soft, has hardened. Its strokes are smoother now, more confident. But the ocean is a place of mystery and danger. A dark shape approaches, a shadow gliding silent as thought. The turtle's instincts ignite. It darts upward, breaking through the surface into blinding light. It gasps, heart racing. The predator passes below, uninterested this time. Still, the lesson is etched into memory. Independence means risk, and the sea respects only the wise. The turtle dives again, calmer now, swimming toward the horizon. It is alone, but no longer afraid of the vastness around it. In the forests of North America, the young foxes emerge in their den one final morning before setting out on their own. The vixen stands nearby, silent, watching her kits, no longer soft with baby fur, but sleek and ready. The air is cool, filled with the smell of pine and dew. One by one, the young foxes nuzzle their mother, then vanish into the undergrowth, their tails flashing like amber in the light. She listens to their footsteps fade, a low whine caught in her throat. She knows they will face hunger, cold, and solitude, but she also knows this is the way of all things. Life, she understands, must always let go of itself to begin again. In the dense canopy of the rainforest, the baby capuchin monkey has become a young explorer. No longer content to cling to its mother, it now leaps from branch to branch, testing its own balance. The forest seems endless, vines light color and scent everywhere. The monkey learns the rules of gravity, of timing, of courage. It falls once, twice, then lands perfectly the third time, shrieking with triumph. The troop watches from above, cheering with chatter. In the wild, success is not measured by perfection, but by persistence. Later, the young monkey sits high on a branch, watching the sunset bleed through the canopy. The forest hums with life. It understands, perhaps for the first time, that it belongs not just to its mother, but to the world itself. In the endless meadows of Europe, a young deer steps into the open field alone for the first time. Its mother lingers behind, hidden among the trees. The fawn's legs tremble, but its eyes are steady. The scent of flowers and rain fills its lungs. A breeze moves through its fur like a whisper of encouragement. Then movement. A shadow flickers across the grass. A wolf. The fawn freezes, its instinct alive and ancient. The wolf approaches, slow, silent. For a moment, time holds its breath. Then the fawn bolts, not with panic, but with grace. It runs like the wind itself, zigzagging to the tall grass, its hooves barely touching the ground. Behind it, the wolf gives chase but soon gives up, melting into shadow. The fawn bursts into the trees, panting, alive. The world has tested it, and it has answered with speed and spirit. Independence, it learns, is not just freedom, it is survival earned. As night falls, the voices of the wild rise again. The young sleep beneath stars or branches, beside rivers or in burrows, each one carrying the day's lessons in their hearts. Tomorrow they will wander farther, climb higher, dive deeper. The mothers will still watch, though from a distance now, their eyes full of unspoken pride. In this vast, untamed world, every creature grows not only by instinct, but by the courage to explore. Independence in the wild is not loneliness. It is a song of selfhood, the realization that even in a world of predators and storms, one can still move forward, still breathe, still belong. And so the earth turns once more, its youngest travelers walking, flying, and swimming toward their destinies. They are no longer simply the wild's children. They are its promise fulfilled, its heartbeat carried forward. The world around them remains fierce, but within each small body burns a light, the spark of life's oldest truth, that to live is to learn, and to learn is to grow, even when the path leads into the unknown. The wild is both teacher and test, nurturing and merciless in equal measure. For every gentle dawn that bathes a young in light, there comes a shadow. Storms, hunger, predators, and peril. The earth gives freely, yet takes without warning. For the young, this is a season of truth. Innocence fades beneath the weight of reality, and only those who learn its rhythm survive. To live in the wild is to walk the narrow edge between beauty and danger, where every heartbeat is a gamble and every choice a chance. In the African savanna, the rains have ended and the land begins to thirst again. The grass turns brittle. The rivers shrink into dusty ribbons. The lion cubs, now growing fast, follow their pride through an unforgiving landscape. Hunger stalks them as surely as any predator. Days pass without a successful hunt. The cubs grow weaker, their eyes duller, their playful spirit dimmed. Yet even in struggle, lessons form. One night, the lioness finally spots a lone wildebeest limping near the edge of the herd. She crouches low, the pride beside her, every muscle coiled with purpose. The cubs watch from a distance, silent, trembling, waiting. When the lioness strikes, the air splits with sound and motion. The chase is brutal, the ending swift. The cubs feast that night under a blood-red moon. Hunger is sated, and with it comes understanding. That every meal in the wild is paid for an effort, patience, and the delicate balance between life and death. Far away in the Arctic, storms roll across the frozen plains, painting the horizon in white fury. The polar bear cubs press against their mother as the blizzard howls. The wind tears at their fur, and visibility vanishes into a blinding blur. The mother digs a shallow hollow in the snow and curls around her cubs, her great body shielding them from the storm's wrath. Hours stretch into eternity. The cold gnaws even at her strength. The cubs whimper, frightened, but she holds them close, her warmth their only refuge. When the storm finally passes, the world is silent once more, a vast, sculpted plain of ice glinting beneath a pale sun. The cubs emerge, blinking alive. Survival, they learn, is not always a battle fought. Sometimes it is endured. The Arctic's lesson is endurance itself, quiet, steady, and absolute. In the jungles of Asia, the elephant herd faces another trial, drought. The rivers have receded into narrow trickles, and the trees no longer weep moisture from their leaves. The matriarch leads her family onward, memory guiding her through land she has crossed 100 times before. The young calf struggles with every step, trunk dragging through the dust. The adults take turns supporting it, their trunks brushing its sides, murmuring low rumbles of reassurance. Finally, after days of relentless travel, the matriarch scents water, faint but real. With a deep trumpet, she leads a herd to a hidden pool beneath an ancient baobab. The calf collapses beside it, drinking deeply. The herd surrounds it, spraying water into the air, their joy echoing like thunder. In the wild, survival is not only about strength. It is about memory, about community, about following the wisdom of those who have walked before. In the forest of North America, the young fox learns a language of fear. It crouches low among the grass, its amber fur blending with the fading light. A shadow moves between the trees, a coyote, lean and hungry. The fox freezes, every muscle whispering silence. The wind shifts, carrying its scent toward the predator. The coyote's head lifts, eyes lock. For a heartbeat, time becomes still. Then the fox bolts. It runs not blindly, but with purpose, zigzagging through bushes, diving beneath fallen logs. The chase stretches across the meadow, until the fox slips into a burrow barely wide enough for its body. The coyote prowls above, sniffing, waiting, then finally gives up. When the fox emerges hours later, the moon is high. Its heart still races, but it understands now. The wild rewards those who listen, who learn, who adapt. Fear, it realizes, is not weakness. It is wisdom in disguise. Beneath the waves of Pacific, the young sea turtle faces the greatest predator of all, the open ocean. Storm currents twist the sea into a living labyrinth. Waves crash like mountains, and lightning illuminates the surface in flashes of silver. The turtle is tossed and tumbled, fighting to stay afloat. Then, silence. The storm fades, leaving behind a calm expanse dotted with debris. The turtle floats amid it, exhausted, its shell scraped, its spirit heavy. But when the sun rises, it moves again, slow but determined, guided by something unbreakable, instinct. It swims toward the warmth, toward the light. Even the smallest creature, it seems, carries within it a compass that never fails. To survive the sea is to trust the current of one's own will. In the Andes, the young condor faces its first true flight through turbulence. Winds roar through the mountain passes, unpredictable and fierce. The bird spreads its wings, battling gusts that threaten to throw it into stone. But with every correction, every turn, its body learns how to balance, how to rise, how to yield to the sky instead of fighting it. Finally, it finds a rhythm. The wind no longer pushes. It carries. The condor soars, wings stretched wide, gliding between clouds at a living echo of the earth's breath. Freedom, it learns, is not won by resistance, but by trust, the same trust that keeps it aloft amid chaos. In the heart of the Amazon, the Capuchin troop faces a different kind of trial. A jaguar prowls beneath the trees, golden eyes searching the branches. The monkeys sense danger long before it arrives. The alarm cry cuts through the forest, sharp, urgent. The mothers gather their young, pulling them close, leaping to higher ground. The jaguar waits patiently, silent, blending into the foliage. One young monkey slips, falling to a lower branch. The air tightens, but before the predator can strike, an older male drops between them, hurling sticks, shrieking, defiant. The jaguar hesitates, then retreats into shadow. The troop regroups, trembling but alive. That night, the forest sings again, and the young monkey clings tighter to its mother. It has learned the truth written in every leaf. That courage is not the absence of fear, but the choice to face it anyway. In the Antarctic colony, the penguin chick faces its first long cold without the shelter of its father. The winds return, and the temperatures drop far below freezing. The chick huddles among others, pressed feather to feather, trembling. The adults have gone sea to hunt. The young must wait, hungry and alone. Time stretches endlessly across the ice. Some will not survive. Yet as dawn breaks weeks later, the horizon fills with movement. The returning parents, bellies full of fish. The chicks cry out, each one searching for the sound of its parents' call. When the father returns, he lowers his head, feeding his chick from his beak. Warmth and life flow once again. In this frozen world, reunion is the purest joy, proof that love endures even the longest winter. As night falls across the globe, the world breathes in silence. The storms are calmed, the predators rest, the young sleep beneath skies heavy with stars. Every creature carries the marks of its trials, scars of wind and tooth, lessons of hunger and fear. Yet within each is the spark of survival, burning steady and bright. The wild may be ruthless, but is also fair. It gives back to those who endure. And so in every cub's heart, in every chick's cry, in every flick of young tail or flutter wings, life continues its ageless vow, to struggle, to rise, to live again when the dawn returns. Growth in the wild is never sudden. It is a slow awakening, shaped by time, challenge, and the silent patience of nature itself. The young who once stumbled now stride with confidence. Those who once had now begin to lead. It is a turning of a sacred cycle, the gentle passing from helplessness to strength, from student to survivor. Each heartbeat, each breath of wind has been a teacher. And now, as the seasons shift once again, the children of the earth begin to rise. In the African savanna, dawn paints the plains in soft gold. The lion cubs, once fragile bundles of fur, now move with poise. Their limbs, once clumsy, have grown strong from endless play that mimic the hunt. They stalk insects, wrestle siblings, and follow their mothers into the grasslands with a fierce curiosity. One morning, the lioness allows her eldest cub to join the hunt for the first time. The moment is electric, a rite of passage written into every sinew of the animal kingdom. They approach a herd of impala, every tail flick, every whisper movement a test of discipline. The young cub crouches, its body trembling with focus. The lioness signals, and the chase begins. Dust rises, hooves thunder, and instinct takes over. Though the cub's strike is premature, startling the herd, the lioness does not scold. She nuzzles it afterward, her amber eyes proud. For in the wild, failure is not a punishment. It is a seed of wisdom. Across the northern tundra, the polar bear cubs are no longer small enough to ride upon their mother's back. Their steps are steady now, their paws sure upon the ice. They follow her to the seal hunting grounds, watching as she waits by the breathing holes, motionless, statuesque, a monument of patience. Hours pass, the cold biting, but the cubs do not fidget. They have learned silence is strength. When at last the seal surfaces, their mother strikes, swift and final. The cubs feast, learning the rhythm of survival, effort, stillness, reward. Later, as they play fight in the snow, their growls echo across the ice, blending with the sigh of the wind. Childhood in the Arctic is brief, but its lessons are eternal. In the emerald jungles of Asia, the young elephant calf walks beside its mother, no longer needing the gentle nudge to stay close. Its trunk sways freely, mimicking the adults, pulling leaves, tossing mud, learning the ancient rituals of dust and water. The herd travels to a great watering hole, one that the matriarch's memory recalls from generations past. There, the young ones splash and trumpet, while the elders stand guard. It is a celebration of life's resilience, a communion of the old and the new. That evening, the calf stands beneath a sky rippled with stars, listening to the deep rumble of its elders. Those sounds are not mere calls. They are songs of knowledge, passed through vibration and time. The calf adds its small note, uncertain, high-pitched, yet brave. It is its first attempt to join the chorus of its kind. Growth in the wild is not only about size or strength. It is about finding one's voice in the symphony of existence. High in the Andean peaks, the condor fledgling spreads its wings beneath a boundless sky. The wind that once frightened it now feels like an ally, a living force that lifts it higher with every beat. It circles the cliffs, tracing invisible paths of air with growing precision. From above, the world stretches in all directions, rivers winding like silver veins, snow peaks burning gold in the sun. Freedom has arrived, but it carries responsibility. The young condor must learn where the currents flow, where prey hides, and where danger lies. Its parents watch from afar, letting it make its first long glide alone. The air roars beneath its wings, and for the first time, the bird does not fear the emptiness. It embraces it. Every creature must one day step beyond the shadow of protection and find strength in solitude. The wind is a teacher now, and the lesson is courage. In the forests of North America, the young fox begins to roam beyond the den. Autumn has painted the trees in amber and flame, and the air hums with the promise of change. The fox has grown sleek and cunning, its eyes sharp, its ears tuned to the whisper of prey. One morning, it catches its first rabbit. There is no witness but the forest itself. The act is not cruel. It is necessary, part of the eternal dance of predator and prey. The fox eats quietly beneath a birch tree, the soft crunch of leaves beneath its paws. When night falls, it returns to its den, where its siblings no longer wait. Each has begun their own journey. For the first time, the fox sleeps alone. In that solitude, a subtle understanding blooms. That independence is not loneliness, but a deeper form of belonging. In the coral reefs of the Pacific, the young sea turtle glides through turquoise light, growing stronger with each tide. Its shell bears the scars of storms and predators, each mark a testament to its endurance. Now, it swims with rhythm and confidence, navigating currents that once overwhelmed it. Beneath it, the ocean floor dances with color, schools of fish shimmering like liquid jewels, coral gardens swaying in the soft pulse of the sea. The turtle pauses near a reef where it once hid as a hatchling. It is larger now, unrecognizable even to the tiny fish that dart around it. Growth in the ocean is silent, measured not in words but in distance traveled, danger survived, and instincts honed. The turtle turns toward the open blue, the vast unknown, and swims onward, propelled by something greater than fear, destiny. In the Antarctic, The penguin chick stands upon the ice, its down replaced by sleek feathers. It stretches its wings, feeling the pull of the ocean for the first time. The colony watches, thousands of black and white figures, silent, knowing. One by one, the young waddle toward the edge. The first leaps, splashing into the icy water, disappearing beneath the waves. Then another, then another. The chick hesitates, a heartbeat suspended between the safety of the known and the call of the wild. Then with a small cry it dives. The cold is shocking, the pressure immense, but movement takes over. It swims. Its wings become flippers, its body slicing through the water with newfound grace. Above, the ice glows like glass. Below, the sea hums with life. The penguin has found its element. It has become what it was born to be. And across all lands, under every sky, the same story unfolds. The story of transformation. From trembling infants to skilled survivors, the young of the world rise to meet their destinies. Growth is not marked by time, but by trial, by the hunger that drives, the fear that teaches, and the love that endures. The earth watches in quiet pride, its pulse beating within every living heart. For life at its core is not about reaching an end, but about becoming, evolving, and carrying forward the light of existence one generation after another. Across continents and oceans, through jungles and deserts, under seas and skies, life hums with one universal rhythm. Every creature, no matter its shape or size, carries within it the same ancient spark. Whether it beats in the heart of a lion or pulses beneath the shell of a sea turtle, that spark is a song of survival, the melody of the living earth. The young, scattered across the planet, learn in their own ways, but their lessons intertwine, forming a vast web of connection that binds the wild together. In their innocence, they reveal something profound, that all life, though different in form, grows from the same breath, the same dream. In the golden plains of Africa, the lion cubs rest beneath the acacia's shade, their bellies full from a morning's hunt. A herd of elephants passes nearby, giants moving with quiet grace. The cubs watch, wide-eyed, as a calf among them splashes through a muddy pool, trunk raised in play. There is no fear, only fascination. For a moment, predator and prey share the same space, the same sun, the same peace. The wind carries a mingled sense of fur, grass, and rain-soaked earth, a symphony of existence. It is as if the savannah itself breathes through them all, reminding each that their lives, though separate, are threads in the same tapestry. High above, the condor glides on invisible currents, its shadow crossing forests, rivers, and deserts alike. Beneath its flight, life unfolds in countless forms. The fox teaching its kits to hunt, the monkeys swinging through emerald canopies, the penguins huddled on distant ice. To the condor's eyes, they are all part of one moving landscape, shifting and alive. It soars higher still, carried by the rising thermals, until the world below becomes one great organism, land, water, air, and life interwoven without division. From this height, there are no borders, no species, no hierarchies, only the eternal pulse of creation. In the coral reef, the young sea turtle passes over a world bursting with color. Tiny clownfish dart among anemones, their orange scales flashing like sparks of joy. A baby reef shark glides by, curious but harmless, the ocean's silent dance of predator and prey in balance. Each creature, from the smallest shrimp to the great manta ray, plays its part in this living mosaic. The turtle slows to watch a school of silver fish swirl into a perfect spiral, catching sunlight like liquid mirrors. For a moment, everything moves as one. The fish, the current, the coral, the turtle itself, all part of the same graceful flow. Beneath the waves, individuality dissolves, and unity becomes visible in motion. Far to the north, on the skies of aurora and snow, the polar bear cubs wander with their mother across the endless ice. Above them, a flock of migrating geese draws dark shapes against the green glow of the sky. The bears pause, gazing upward. For a fleeting instant, the birds and the bears share the same direction, north to south, hunter and traveler, guided by the same magnetic whispers of the earth. When the wind shifts, carrying salt from the sea, the cubs lift their noses, catching scents that have traveled thousands of miles. The world, they learn, is not vast and empty. It is full, connected, alive. What touches one touches all. In the Amazon rainforest, the young capuchin monkeys leap through branches that drip with rain. Beneath them, a jaguar moves silently, her own cub padding beside her. The monkeys cry out, but the jaguar does not hunt today. She moves through the undergrowth with purpose, to teach her young the boundaries of her territory. When she stops to drink from a stream, the monkeys quiet. The air hums with rain and breath. In that moment, prey and predator share the same water, the same reflection. The forest, thick with life and sound, is not divided by fear, but held together by balance. Even conflict, in nature, has its place, for it maintains a harmony that allows all to endure. In the Arctic Ocean, penguin chicks dive through ice tunnels beneath the surface, their sleek bodies slicing to the cold like living arrows. Around them, fish shimmer in the filtered light, and seals move gracefully, their forms ghost-like in the deep blue. Above the surface, snowflakes fall, each one a tiny universe, a pattern never repeated. As they touch the water, they melt, becoming part of the sea that sustains everything here. The penguins, the fish, the seals, all breathe the same water, live by the same cycles of freeze and thaw. It is a great secret of the planet, the realization that every drop, every gust of wind, every spark of life is shared. Back in the forested hills of North America, the young fox stands at the edge of a stream. It lowers its head to drink, and in its reflection, the world ripples, trees, clouds, sky, and something more. The same stream that quenches its thirst will flow into rivers that feed plains, that become oceans where turtles swim and whales sing. The fox's eyes seem to catch a glimpse of that unseen connection, as if understanding that it, too, is part of something boundless. The earth, it seems, speaks softly to all who listen, not in words, but in the silent language of continuity. From the plains of Africa to the frozen poles, from the deepest seas to the highest peaks, the young of the world grow under the same sky. They may never meet, but their lives are linked by invisible threads: air, water, soil, and light. The same rain that falls upon a lion's mane will one day feed the coral reefs. The same wind that brushes a penguin's feathers will sweep across a fox's den. In their innocence, the young reveal the truth that human eyes too often forget: that life is one great circle, endlessly folding back into itself, endlessly giving, endlessly growing. As twilight settles across the globe, the forests glow with fireflies, the deserts hum with crickets, the oceans glimmer with bioluminescence. The world, seen from above, is alive with light, millions of tiny sparks pulsing in rhythm. Each spark is a heartbeat, a story, a beginning. Together they form the breathing, glowing soul of the planet. And in that collective radiance, the wild whispers a single message: that unity is not an idea, but a living truth written in the stars and the waves, in the cry of every newborn life that takes its first breath upon this earth. Night fades, and the earth breathes in light once more. Across every continent, from the stillness of the poles to the heat of savannah, dawn unfolds in waves of gold. Mist rises from rivers, dew sparkles on grass, and the air fills with sound, the awakening of life's endless rhythm. The young, once helpless, now move with purpose, their eyes alive with the knowledge of their world. And in their growth, the cycle renews itself. The wild never ends. It merely begins again in new hearts, in new voices, in new generations that carry forward the memory of all that came before. On the African plains, the lion cubs have grown into sleek adolescents. The pride moves as one, fluid and powerful, their steps silent upon the dry earth. The cub that once fumbled during its first hunt now crouches with poise, leading a coordinated stalk beneath the amber sun. When the impala falls, it is swift and respectful, the balance maintained, the lesson complete. Later, as the pride rests beneath the spreading acacia, the lioness watches her young from afar. Her gaze is calm, ancient, filled with pride and peace. She knows her task is almost done. Life will move forward without her, as it always has. In the distance, thunder murmurs, the promise of rain, of rebirth. Far to the north, the polar bear cubs, now nearly grown, separate from their mother beneath a sky of infinite white. She has given them all she can, her warmth, her strength, her wisdom. The time for parting has come. The young bears nuzzle her one last time, then turn toward the drifting ice, each in search of its own horizon. The mother watches until they fade into the fog, her heart both heavy and light. The Arctic wind carries her scent away, blending it into the breath of the ocean. Above, the aurora flickers like a spirit song, green, pink, and gold ribbons weaving across the heavens. The cycle continues, not in sorrow, but in trust that life knows its way. In the jungles of Asia, the elephant herd gathers beneath a vast, moonlit sky. The calf, now taller and surer, walks at the matriarch's side. It has learned to follow, to listen, to remember the three great pillars of survival. The herd moves toward the watering hole where generations before have bathed, drank, and celebrated the rhythm of life. Fireflies glimmer among the reeds. Frogs sing in the distance. As they reach the water, the calf splashes joyfully, its trunk raised high, spraying a shimmering arc into the night. The older elephants rumble softly, deep, resonant calls that ripple through the ground and the air. To the unseen ear, it sounds like hymn, a tribute to the unbroken lineage of the wild. Here, every birth is a beginning, every death a return, every life a verse in an endless song. Across the Pacific, the young sea turtle, now grown, returns to the beach where it first emerged from the sand. The moon is full, casting a silver path across the waves. With slow, deliberate movement, it crawls ashore, its flippers carving trails in the soft grains. Behind it, the sea whispers. Ahead, the dunes hold silence. The turtle digs with patience, forming a nest beneath the stars. One by one, it lays its eggs, tiny white orbs, fragile yet filled with infinite possibility. When the tide begins to rise, the turtle returns to the water, pausing once to look back. The cycle turns again. The same beach that once gave it life now receives the next generation. Beneath the sand, the heartbeat of new life begins, faint but steady. In the Andean sky, the condor soars higher than ever before, its wings slicing through clouds. Below, a young fledgling follows, hesitant but eager. The adult circles, guiding through motion alone. It does not lead with force, but with grace, showing that freedom, once learned, must be shared. Together they ride the winds above mountain peaks bathed in crimson light. From this height, even the tallest summit seems small, and the world appears whole, a single breathing organism where every life, every death, every motion plays its part. When the older condor tilts its wings and disappears into the horizon, the fledgling continues alone, carried by the same unseen currents that have borne its kind for millennia. In the Arctic waters, the penguin chick, now sleek and strong, dives through the sea with effortless precision. It hunts for fish, weaving through the cold depths like a dancer in blue light. Around it, thousands of others move in harmony, their black and white forms flickering like constellations beneath the surface. Above, on the ice, new chicks huddle in nests, calling out to the sky. The cycle never stops. It only shifts from one breath to another, from one wave to the next. The penguin surfaces, its body glistening in the sunlight, droplets scattering like stars. It calls to its colony, a cry of belonging, of endurance, of life. In the forests of North America, the young fox stands at the edge of a meadow. Dawn paints the world in gold and mist. The fox's coat gleams, its eyes catch the light. Behind it, the old den lies silent, overgrown with moss. Ahead, the forest stretches endless and wild. It takes a step forward, the same step its ancestors have taken countless times, into the great unknown. As it moves through the grass, birds rise into the air, their wings brushing the sky. The fox pauses to watch, then continues, its tail flicking in rhythm with the wind. It does not know where the path will lead, only that it must be followed. The wild calls and the heart answers. Everywhere, the same truth unfolds. The young become the guardians. The students become the teachers. The cycle turns without end. From the ocean's depths to the highest canopies, from frozen tundra to sunlit plains, life renews itself with infinite patience. The earth spins, ancient and kind, holding every creature within its embrace. The winds that once whispered lullabies to newborns now carry the songs of their grown voices. Time stretches endlessly, weaving each heartbeat into the vast fabric of being. As the sun sets once more, this time across the entire planet, the light of a million lives flickers in perfect balance. The wild babies of yesterday are protectors of today, and beneath the surface of every landscape, new hearts already stir, ready to begin the journey again. The camera rises higher, past clouds, beyond mountains, over oceans that shimmer like glass. From this height, the world glows, blue and green, fragile yet fierce, alive beyond imagination. A single planet, cradling endless life, a miracle of motion, memory, and renewal. And as the final light fades, a single truth remains, whispered through wind, through water, through the songs of every living thing. Life endures. Life evolves. Life continues. The eternal story of the wild, reborn with every dawn,